going on, Jerome's? Minnesota Fighting Vikings had a mandate this offseason to potentially find the successor to quarterback Kirkywell Jerome Ezekiel Cousins, who they did not sign to a long-term extension, is heading into a lame duck season this year and is slated to be a free agent next offseason. And who's going to replace all this Coles cash? All that stuff. And in the draft, a lot of people had the Vikings tied to Kentucky gunslinger Will Levis, who ultimately fell out of the first round, going to the Tennessee Titans, or Hendon Dwight got a hooker, who ended up going in the third round to the Detroit Lions. But it didn't happen. But the Vikings did take a quarterback in the 2023 draft with the fifth rounder, Jaren Hall. That's right. The pride of BYU, getting things done at pick 164. And the whole thing about it is, yes, they're in shorts and helmets, no full contact, no full drills, whatever. But Jaren Hall's impressing. Jaren Hall is looking pretty damn good through a handful of practices already at Vikings training camp. This is from Alec Lewis, The Athletic. A quick thought from Vikings camp quarterback Jaren Hall looked very solid today. Two really impressive throws, a back shoulder, then a touch bowl on a crossing route toward the sidelines. And then our guy Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated, this is what he wrote about Jaren Hall yesterday. Watching rookie quarterback Jaren Hall on Thursday, it was easy to see why the Vikings believed in him enough to take him in the fifth round of this year's draft. Hall has crisp mechanics, throws a pretty bowl, and seems to be an extremely smart, mature player. He doesn't have any crazy physical tools, but he makes up with that with everything else. In the first 11-on-11 period of practice, Hall ripped accurate throws over the middle to Lucky Jackson on consecutive plays. Later in practice, he threw a perfect ball, would touch to Thayer Thomas and a well-covered crossing route, putting it just over the defensive back where only Thomas could catch it. Hall followed that up with a nice back shoulder throw up the left sideline to Cephas Johnson III. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, congratulations, he's beating threes. But also, I always counter with this. It's like, he could play bad. Would you rather have that happen? Also, he's playing with threes against threes. So, what's your point? Either way, the kid is taking his opportunities and looking good. That's all you can do at this stage. And Jaren Hall, I like him a lot. And frankly, I do think that his age could be a positive, as he turned 25 years old in March, so a little bit of an older rookie coming in. He's 6'2", 207, former 3-star recruit from Spanish Fork, Utah. Served a 2-year mission out of college. We'll talk about why that's important here in a sec. Also played 2 years on the BYU baseball team. Replaced Zach Wilson as the Cougars starter in 2021. And it's funny because Jaren Hall is a year and a half older than Zach Wilson, even though Zach Wilson's been in the league for 2 years now. But 2022, 3,171 yards passing, completed 66% of his throws, 31 touchdowns, 6 picks, 86.3 PFF grade. Also ran for 350 yards as well as 3 touchdowns. Did well at the combine, ran a 4.62 40, where it's like he can run, but he's not a running quarterback, if that makes sense. And also, he threw well at the combine and his pro day. Looked really, really good. And also, he impressed former NFL scout/executive and current ESPN national media jabroni haircut Lewis the Chronicles of Riddick. Jaren Hall is just going to be one of those guys who you just know is going to do things the right way on and off the field. He just needs to develop consistency, and once he's able to do that, I think this is one of the guys that can be a Brock Purdy type of guy. He has that kind of makeup. Now, everyone and their mom taking late round quarterbacks, trying to find the next Brock Purdy as a guy that you can plug into your system, paint by numbers, won't make mistakes, and can operate your offense. And I mean, Jaren Hall, could he be that guy? Potentially. I did say that his maturity could be an asset, where he is 25 coming in. He served 2 years on a Mormon mission. He played baseball, so he has a lot more life experiences and is a little bit more well-rounded than a lot of these guys coming in, and that certainly helps with perspective, and I think that helps him as a leader. He also does have that alpha attitude where he's all the scouting reports are renowned about his leadership, his ability to control a huddle from Vikings rookie minicamp, and you can just tell from interviews, like, he carries himself well, he's confident about himself but not cocky, and he's the guy that you could see teams and an offense following. And he does have a live arm. Like, does he have a complete hose like Zach Wilson? No, but he does have a live arm. He can make all the NFL throws, especially deep balls. He's extremely adept at that, as well as Alec Lewis pointed out, a couple of the outside the numbers throws, back shoulders, etc. Does have a quick release too. And it comes from, the baseball background. That thing does have a nice snap. And yeah, just because he's a 6-foot quarterback and wears number 3, everyone's going to compare him to Russell Wilson. Maybe, maybe not. But sort of like Russ, he does have some mobility, but he's not a running quarterback. And he does read progressions well. Ran an NFL adjacent offense at BYU and is known as a film junkie and a locker room leader, which is great. Also, speaking of reading progressions well, it was reported that he was calling out checks at the line of scrimmage, which as a rookie, it's pretty impressive, A, that he's doing that, and B, that the coaches give him the latitude to do that even in training camp. So I am really fired up to see what Jaren Hall is going to do in the rest of training camp, joint practices, as well as certainly preseason, because the Vikings right now have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. That means that Jaren Hall is going to get a lot of work in preseason, and I can't wait to see him, man. Now, I'm not ready to say that he's going to be the successor to Kirk Cousins, but stranger things have happened. I mean, Kirk was a 4th-round pick coming on in before he eventually took over the Washington job from number 2 overall pick RG3, as well as the Commies this year are rolling with second-year quarterback Slinging Sam Howell, who's the first pick of the 5th round last year. So never say never. And here's the thing. As the kid gets more and more opportunities and he continues to do well with this, he continues to do well with that, this, that, and the other thing, eventually that just grows and shows, and eventually he could be that dude. I guess we'll see. But either way, really stellar return so far from Jaren Hall at training camp. But your thoughts are thoughts. Jaren Hall, the rookie quarterback, impressing. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.